Hey guys, Rise here, back with a Defect Ascension 9 run, the final one before we get to Ascension 10. Very exciting. We're going to go immediately with Niao's Gamble, and we get a ridiculous start with a double rare Ice Lance all for one, which is an interesting combo that may work. Well, we know it works because I'm making it. We also get a Precarious Shears. The curse that we get is probably the best one that you can get, a Guilty that goes away after 5 fights. So let's get into it. We've got a really nice start. Ice Lance, I like. It's a really nice card to get, especially early on, with just the defense that you get out of it. You get 3. If you didn't know, Ice Lance gives you 3 ice orbs or frost orbs when you play it. So you always get 6 block. And if you have a lightning orb or something, you obviously evoke that. So it also sets you up early for a nice dual cast on a following turn, or even Zap can be good because you evoke the Frost Orb for more damage via evoking, and it's kind of nice. Next up, we've got the Tadpole fight, or the Toadpole, I think it's called, whatever. This one can be scary, but we've got a good start to our All for One also. So we've got like 2 branches that we can go here. And we don't have to do one or the other. We can actually do both. Oh, lucky hit there, by the way. We'll take the 50-50. Yeah, so All for One is kind of nice. This is a good combo, though. Here what you're seeing is exactly what we can do. And that is we can play the 3-cost card, but also play the 0-cost All for One cards. Now, obviously, when we get Ice Lance and All for One in the same hand, you can't do a whole lot with that. It is what it is. So it's, it's not that great when that happens, but otherwise, which especially as the deck gets bigger, that's generally more and more unlikely. If you've ever played the game, you know that at some point you get like a combo set of cards, and it feels like you never get them together because statistically, it's not super likely that you'll always get it together. In fact, it's pretty rare. Obviously, the larger your deck gets. Now, early on, we have the issue happen more than, say, later in the game. But, like, this hand, this is a great example of, like, man, it also sucks to get both curses together, Guilty and Ascender's Bane. But thanks to Ice Lance, we don't actually care that much. And again, that Guilty's going to go away eventually. So already, I think the power is probably pretty clear. This is a good example where we can go for the eyes both with All for One, or we can evoke 3 Frost Orbs and go for the eyes, and both kill one with the Ice Lance, as well as, well, we're going to kill one either way. I don't know. I don't know if it mattered. I could have gone either direction here, and I think they both would have died. But, like, you could just see the power of the options that it gives you, even when you get them both together. So here's a great example of he's doing 14, and we can just evoke twice. We could have also played dual cast if we needed. And now we get a Beam Cell. So, like, okay, All for One is starting to roll, and Ice Lance is still good. That's the beauty of it. So we get our first hard pool fight. This is what are we on? The 4th fight, 5th floor. We're on the docks, by the way. So this is something that you want to be thinking about when you start immediately. The more that you play, you start to notice the difference and care about the difference more. But obviously, the fights that you're going to encounter, maybe not obviously, the fights that you're going to encounter are significantly different. Where we know the elites that we're going to get, we know the pool of fights that we're going to get, and we can kind of prepare for that a little bit. The elites in the docks, I find, are in general easier than Overgrowth. Bygone Effigy can be very hard to prepare for, where he starts doing 25 a hit a turn on turn 3 and beyond. But if you know it's coming, you can choose to path for that or not. For the docks, it's a little bit different. Obviously, we've got Terror Eel that we've got to think about. We've got the AoE fight with the 4 wormy guys whose names I can't remember. That they can be kind of tough. This is a great turn, by the way, for Ice Lance. Real easy. We've got and then finally we've got Skulking Colony, right? So, like, Skulking Colony with this deck, really not that scary with Ice Lance, because number 1, we max out the damage, and number 2, we can, especially if we played it a second time, we can play that with Go for the Eyes. We can do a lot with it, right? And we're going to take another Go for the Eyes. Well, actually, you know what? Scavenge is interesting here because it can give us some nice turns in future turns. And we're actually going to go with Sweeping Beam because of the AoE fight. Again, these are the things that you want to be thinking about as you get into it. But back to what I was saying, you know, we're pretty well set for most of these fights already. I think Terror Eel is probably the scariest elite here. And look at that. That is some serious damage. Beam Cell working really well with Ice Lance. And there's the Sweeping Beam is nice. We can all for one and get back our Go for the Eyes. And because this guy doesn't start scaling heavily until turn 3, really. Again, not a scary fight. Also, there you go. Literally massive damage and defense at the same time with that Ice Lance. I love it. Already the Guilty is gone. This was kind of nice where we took we were able to take 3 fights in a row, no problem. We're offered a Hailstorm, which is going to hit very frequently, and it's also AoE. Tesla Coil here, not that great. We're not generating much lightning, not yet anyway. Maybe it'll be good later. And Overclock's kind of nice too. It's 0 cost, but I think we want Overclock a little bit later in the run if we can swing it. Now, we're not going to take that first elite fight. We're going to rest up. Slippery Bridge. You know, we could get rid of Sweeping Beam right away, and I'm going to do it because, like, it's a common, so it's good, but it's not that good. And with that, maybe we go right and avoid the elite. But I think left is safe, too, with all those question marks. So we could rest again and get just real healthy prior to the elite. We do have 2 potions, though, and that could let us do a nice upgrade here. The best upgrades are definitely Go for the Eyes or Beam Cell. Although with the AoE, maybe Hailstorm isn't terrible as I'm looking at it. Energy upgrade, not terrible either. So Zap actually lets us play it with the All for One. So going to 0 cost is nice there, which also often evokes a Frost Orb. So the Zap will also give us block very frequently. And we can immediately take out one of these guys with the All for One here, and I think that's probably the best play. We can't really block for. It's going to save more than if we tried to full block, unless we had originally hit the guy in the front, and then maybe it would have made sense to go in a different direction there. So we'll take a hit, but I think from here we're already in good shape. Beam Cell is definitely an upgrade candidate here. Having 2 vulnerable is just so much stronger on that card. Like, it's like more than twice as good. I know it looks twice as good. It's more than twice as good because things like, you know, Ice Lance and All for One, being able to play it on separate turns and still do that massive damage is just so nice. We're going to take the Summoning guy out, and Hailstorm will take out the other guy. So we can get a Leap here, which is kind of nice for block. Shadow Shield, also not terrible. Big block card, Channels of Dark. So again, we're going to evoke a Frost Orb very frequently. Beam Cell was totally fine to take there too with All for One, and we could just lean into it. But we're right now we're doing a little bit of both, trying to get some manipulation of the orbs and evoking with different cards. And I like the Dark Orb for the Soulfish. So we can get a real nice dual cast off on that and be blocking with the Frost pretty frequently. Or do some big damage with an Ice Lance with block, which is kind of nice. And you got to be looking at the boss early on for how you're going to get through it. I think the best example of that is the Waterfall boss, which is, I guess, a Docks boss. Yeah, it must be. It's water, right? That would make sense. You know, he's one where, well, both of them matter, right? Both Soulfish too. So Soulfish puts a whole bunch of statuses in your deck that get real painful as the fight goes along. So if you have a way to get rid of the statuses, awesome. So like a Compact is really good. Or if you're playing Regent, Be Gone, or Guards, or, you know, whatever. Ironclad, maybe you want to lean into Exhaust. Because if you don't, you know, they're going to eat you alive. Whereas you might build differently for the Waterfall, because he does a massive attack if obviously he explodes at the end. So you might want to have, in our case, maybe we would have taken a second Go for the Eyes, or that's a priority upgrade, is a Go for the Eyes upgrade to get the weak on the explosion turn, because you can't avoid it. You're going to take that hit no matter what you want to do. Anyway, the Skulking Colony fight here is going okay. We're definitely taking a bit more damage than I would have hoped for. But at this point, we're pretty clear here. We just have to get, there we go. We get out of there with the Hailstorm. And, you know, Lightning Rod, not terrible here. Glasswork, okay. Blocking AoE. And Smokestack, not really what we're doing here. We don't have any, we're not really generating any statuses yet. Although if we took that Overclock, or if we take an Overclock, that could be a nice card to have with it, since you're generating 2 burns. But Lightning Rod is kind of nice because, again, it just continues the orb rotation, forcing a lot of defense here. Next up is the Living Fog, which is a tough fight, but we get 2 weakened turns in a row on him, so that's kind of nice. And we almost full block. We are going to take 1. I think that was probably worth it because turn 2 we can only play a single defend or otherwise. This is where Shadow Shield's really nice. Not that he's doing a whole lot of damage here, but we can block for a lot on turns where he is and when he has his little buddy with him. Living Fog, obviously, if you didn't know, is a tough enemy. Honestly, probably one of the toughest on Act 1, where you can only play 1 skill. And obviously in Act 1, you don't have a whole lot of skills that are like upgraded or anything. So we're going to play the Ice Lance, which is going to give us full block here. And if we draw a single attack, actually even if we don't, we have Hailstorm. We're out of this fight, no problem. We refill our potion there, and we get a Claw, which is exactly what we want to see with an All-for-One. Very nice. We can't take the Chosen Cheese. It'll kill us. So we're going to take a boost away. And, you know, Hotfix is kind of interesting too. Another Beam Cell's okay. Leap's not terrible. Go for the Eyes, not terrible. So a lot of options there, but we're going to go for more block here. And, you know, we're actually happy to add cards at this exact moment because, again, Soulfish, with adding the statuses, having... Ooh, that Hailstorm is so good. We got to play the Hailstorm. Having the statuses, though, is actually beneficial to have a bigger deck, if you think about it, right? Bronze Scale's doing work on this fight, by the way, and we just need to get a single Frost Orb here to start feeling much better. Of course, this is the fight where we don't get a single Frost Orb until I don't know what turn. So we're going to make sure that we're blocking well. We do get an Overclock. That's kind of nice, actually. So we can draw maybe into... Nope, didn't get Ice Lance. Didn't get anything we wanted here. Was really hoping for a Cool-Headed or something. But we do have a really good All-for-One turn. So we can weaken we can weaken one of these guys, well, another one of these guys, and we can try to take one of them out with some focus on them. Zap for 0 cost is really nice, by the way. Starting to already appreciate that one. And look at that, we get 5 0 cost cards back, and that's the deck working. That's exactly what we want to do here. We are just shy of a nice clean kill. That breakpoint won off there, but maybe we get lucky with a zap. And realistically, the safe move is just to put the damage on. We do get a Cool-Headed, though, so we do want to play that. Although block is also... Oh, there we go. All right, the boost away. The boost away gets us there for the block that we need. So we could definitely focus on taking one of the guys out in the back. But again, we're off by 1 no matter how we attacked him. Beam Cell gets us close. One of the interesting things is these guys only get 6 block on lower Ascension. So that extra block, you're seeing right there what it does to us from a stats perspective. And it's pretty brutal. Ice Lance, I think, just ends the fight. So that's a great one to get. And we get a Fruit Juice, which is great. And we want to drink that right away. Another Boost Away is good here. We'll take that. Again, making statuses from Boost Away kind of makes the fight against Soulfish a little less scary. Not better, because it's more statuses, but less scary because you're less frequently going to draw a Beckon, I think is the name of the status he gives you. Anyway, easy All-for-One play. There's not a whole lot else to do there. I guess Shadow Shield was an okay play to start loading up, but it's likely we'll play an Ice Lance here soon. There's that Beckon. We have no way to exhaust it, and it doesn't exhaust when you play it, which is unfortunate. I feel like, honestly, an Act 1 boss, it should exhaust. But that Ice Lance, oh, it's so nice. It does so much damage. We play Boost Away there just to make sure that we're full blocking. Again, we do want to make sure we're full blocking early on. Get that Hailstorm down out of the deck. Cool-Headed will just draw maybe a Beckon, which is actually good here. That was the goal, was to get a Beckon. Although I'm pretty sure Beckon does damage direct to you and you don't block it. So I don't think I realized that when I played that. And yeah, so actually unfortunate in hindsight, but what are you going to do? Claw slowly scaling here. All for one, helping out, obviously. But now it's okay. Now it's already doing pretty good here. A second all for one could be good. I'm not sure. I don't think we get one this run, but I would definitely take one. Dolly's Mirror would be a good play on that. And here we go. Ice Lance continuing to be amazing, where we're not going to get the kill. We're just shy. We almost full block, though, but that's going to guarantee now that we're out of this fight without any more concern. And we avoid any more Beckons having to be played. Next turn, oof, Spinner, maybe Spinner. Spinner is a card that I don't play a whole lot of, but gives us some AoE solutions here. Kind of nice. We're offered Pale's Flesh, Wing, or Eye. Flesh is the extra energy at the end of the third turn. Wing is you sacrifice a card reward. Every 2 card rewards give you a relic. Always good. And Pale's Eye, the first time each combat you end your turn without playing cards, you exhaust your hand and you get a free turn. Now, we're almost always going to be playing cards here because so many are 0 cost. So I didn't like the Eye. And Flesh is okay, but we're blocking via orbs. So I think Wing just makes the most sense. And really because we want to focus, I think at this point we're going to be focusing on 0 cost cards or nothing. Like another Claw is actually good. You know, we're not going to be taking too many card rewards here. And, you know, the Wing works with a lot of other little things. It works with Orrery. So Orrery can be 5 cards, or it can be a card and 2 relics. Or 3 relics if you happen to be, if you just give away all your cards and you happen to have 1 charge already. So, like, that's a potential later in the run that we always like to keep in mind of how effective this is. And here we go. Here's our first sacrifice. So we don't get any relics until the next one, but pretty good. We have to get some cards here, which is kind of annoying. Or not cards, but we have to spend the money one way or another on divinations. And this is one where I'm like, I think this might work, but that stupid extra corner. I think there must be a way to do that, to get that relic on 3 divinations. I'm not really sure. I'd have to look. I need to like sit down and like draw it in Excel and fill in 3x3s at a time and see how do you get that. I think I had to get it perfectly on the first hit and I didn't. So had I gotten that, maybe I could have gotten it. Anyway, really easy fight here, by the way. He's going to take our Hailstorm. I think we want to keep the Hailstorm. We don't need to. And, you know, we could have let it go. But I kind of liked it for AoE. So we are going to take that back. We're offered... So Momentum Strike is essentially a 0 cost card. But we're going to sacrifice that and get ourselves a War Paint, which gives us 2 upgrades. We'll get rid of the Vulnerable here for a Fire Pot. In hindsight, I don't know if that was the right play, honestly. But whatever. We're going to go up against the Hunter Killer. And it's tough. We got 2 powers or Ice Lance Zap. Ice Lance Zap is really nice. The orbs don't get affected by this guy's effect. His debuff of every time you play a card, you lose both 1 dex and 1 strength. So again, this is a fight where we've got to be very careful in the order that we play cards. We played Go for the Eyes last because the only thing we really care about is the weaken from that card. And you could just see, like, really nice full block there. This will be another full block turn. And we get to play a strike for a whopping 3, but that's okay. And a defend for 1. We're actually going to take 2 damage here, so maybe I should have played that differently, but that's okay. This is a turn where it's like, well, Claw's kind of funny. It does scale, so like even with the weaken, if this fight went long enough, it gets better. But we want to, so we are obviously going to play that no matter what. Next time, no matter what, it will do damage because I can't play. Well, actually, not if I played all for 1 and had like a big 0 cost turn. But Surprisingly, this fight, while a bit tedious, not all that scary. And we're going to play that Ice Lance, and if I had Hailstorm, this fight would be over. So unfortunately, we don't take damage because Bronze Scales take them out. I thought we were going to take one hit there. I totally forgot. Cold Snap Plus, not terrible here, but also not exactly what we're doing. So we're going to skip that. We're going to look at the self-help book, and we can either draw 2, which is kind of nice, especially with everything that we're doing with zero-cost cards. So putting that on Spinner or Hailstorm could be good. Nimble 2 is okay, but again, we're using a lot of Frost Orbs. And we don't have any multi-attacks, so like Sharp's not all that good here. If we had a Gunk up, we might take it. But we're going to put it on Spinner. I think we're likely to play Spinner every time we get it pretty comfortably or very frequently. And all right, up to the Toadpaw Mommy, going up against the Toad Spiker. This is actually a tough fight. We don't have fantastic block here on the turn that we need it, so we are going to take 5 and no orbs. So unfortunately, that can hurt at times. But you can see that, honestly, with all the zero-cost cards and now some draw on that Spinner, which was really nice, we are able to full block in the future here. The turns where he gets 5 spikes, it's going to be real difficult if we want to play all for one and a bunch of claws and, go for the eyes and all that. We're going to have to be really careful here. But it looks like we're going to get out of this fight without any more damage and rely on the orbs. That is the beauty of having a dual approach here. And yeah, we're good. We're good to go. Orbs would have taken him out on this turn. Claw Plus, yes, please. Compact, kind of interesting, but Claw Plus, yes, please. We want more claws. Another boost away, maybe. Smokestack, maybe. Kunai with Claw all for one. Not bad. Game Piece, we already have some draw on one of our 2 powers, so that's not really that good. If it was a creative AI deck, maybe that would have been a consideration, but I really like Kunai here. And I think that's going to help against the late game. We get a Gremlin Horn, also really nice going into any multi-enemy fight. Gremlin. So Kunai gives you, if you don't know, it gives you 1 dex every time you play 3 attacks. So obviously with a Claw deck and all for one, that's highly likely, especially with Go for the Eyes and Beam Cell and all that. We might get a whole bunch of attacks. In this case, we'll get some decks here if we play it. But Shadow Shield is also a consideration, and we have 2 Toxics. So this is a tough fight. We're tight on energy. So Ultimate Defend looks good here, but and I think I pick it. But in hindsight, Finesse might be better. Because we could have played it, maybe have gotten a boost away, and then played it again. Whereas when you play the Ultimate Defend for 0, the all for one doesn't take it back because it's actually no longer 0. I also should have played Go for the Eyes on the guy who was attacking, because the damage is pretty negligible. So I would say that was definitely playing too fast. Maybe a couple of misplays on that had I thought through that a little bit more. Would have been better if we had done that. Now we do get Spinner down. It's a little bit late though, and we can block for a lot here. But we also have 2 Toxics, so Defend and Lightning Rod will block for more than playing a Toxic. And Toxics, I believe, do hit your shield first. So I almost fire potted here, but I might as well wait. We didn't get lucky with our Lightning Orb hits, and we almost full block. So at this point, we might actually go for we could go for a Fire Pot, but with Claw Beam Cell, it's really not that useful. And we can draw into a Toxic on this turn, which is nice. So this is where it gets kind of scary, though, because we get 2 Toxics, and we're going to draw into potentially more. But we're good. We get out of that fight with not too much damage taken. A 3rd Claw? Seems good. We're going to take that too. Unfortunately, we're not going to sacrifice for a relic, but 3 claws is, I think, good enough. I don't think we want any more. And Mr. B's is a tough fight for us, where we've got the issue of getting a whole bunch of status cards. And we don't do big damage with our attacks, which is unfortunate. Bronze Scales kind of carrying us, though. And While this fight is generally scary, I think we'll be okay once we get past this first little spat with him. We'll probably take damage one more time, and the question is, do we play a strike for 9 and add another daze or not? I don't know, because this time we add no, we don't. We would only add 1 daze. Maybe that was worth it. I'm not really sure. I might have to do some math on that. Now this is the turn where it's like, oof. Well, this is going to make the next turn awful. But if we draw the all for 1, everything's good. Now Shadow Shield though is a real nice play because it gets us that Dark Orb going, and like Ice Lance can really help us here. Dual Cast can potentially get us. But we're gonna play the Flex Pot because we know we have a lot of 0-cost attacks, and Beam Cell with the Flex Pot's gonna definitely get us through. I don't know if there was a way to get through there quicker without using the Flex Pot, but I think that was fine. Just ensure the kill. Now we do get a Potion Belt, which is not super useful right now because we only have 1 potion, but it'll be nice to have potentially later in the game as we get into Act 3. I don't think going to another elite here is the best move without seeing what happens first. So we could do another elite still next time. I played Dual Cast, which is fine. The key there was to make sure we played the strike to get that Kunai proc in. We do have 1 dex, so the Kunai is really nice. We're often getting 1 dex early. There's obviously going to be turns like this where we only get like a single 0-cost attack or whatever. I'm going to use the Fire Pot here, which is nice because of Gremlin Horn, so we full block without any concern. And we have just enough time on this fight to set up and do enough damage to get out of this pretty safely. I do like Hailstorm here, and now we get the Beam Cell all for 1, which is, I think, going to get us through and avoid the weak. Now, a little bit of math here makes it seem like we can probably kill the Bull Bug since he's already vulnerable if we play our cards right. Literally and figuratively. Because now we're doing 11, 16, 13 is now... Yeah, we're good. So we scaled that pretty well. I actually should have played the Claw first on the guy in the back. We would have done slightly more damage to the Slumbering Beetle. But definitely makes sense to not get ourselves weakened going into the next turn. Hailstorm's fine. At this point, it's just a little bit of chip damage. And yeah, this turn's actually really good. It's not a whole lot of cards, and we have 0 cards in our discard pile as the turn starts. But as you can see, it doesn't matter because that Claw is just doing massive damage. And that's it. That's the deck. Now, we could take a 4th Claw, but 4 Claws is a lot. And it's going to actually clog us in the wrong way if we start getting that too early. We get the Bug Slayer event, which is kind of meh. I mean, it's okay, I guess, and gives us some AoE solution. I almost always take the AoE attack versus the squash. Arguable in this particular turn or this particular game if that was a better choice or worse. But with the Strength Pot, I think Exterminate was probably a good call. So the Insatiable Sandworm is who we're up against here. Keep in mind, these Frantic Escapes, while it was great to have all these extra cards and all these extra cards being made in the last fight, it's less good in this fight. We definitely need our Frantic Escapes. And I play it correctly where we only play 1 Frantic Escape here. I learned a few games ago that you can only get so far away, so you don't want to play all of them unless you need to. And we're blocking pretty efficiently here. That Captain's Wheel is really nice for us on that turn 3. It works real well against this boss in particular. Way better than the Anchor, which doesn't do anything. I mean, it blocks, but it doesn't actually help us. And unfortunately, we draw into an all for 1 when we probably should have checked the draw pile before we played a card to draw into that. It's going to be fine. We're blocking for a decent amount here. And we're going to just, do as much damage as we can. So this fight, not super scary, could be, but, you know, honestly, with the Kunai, the longer this fight goes, despite him scaling, the safer I feel we are once we've got our powers in play and stuff. And obviously our claws are going to scale really well here. So there's the cheap Frantic Escape, so we're only going to play the one so we can block for as much as possible. And Lightning Orb or Lightning Rod plus Spinner is kind of nice, real good damage. Yeah, I like it. And we should probably have considered playing the Shadow Shield there, but I think the Frantic Steps to get far enough away are probably better. And this is a really good turn, actually. You do want to play your Claw pluses first because it scales your other claws by more. So that's always something to keep in mind. We're getting pretty low here, lower than I was expecting to get this fight. But from here, I think we're pretty safe between the Ice Lance and Boost Away. Both in damage and in block. We full block. We're shy one. And we are down to one turn of we didn't get a Frantic, so if we didn't kill there, we would have been killed. So a little lucky maybe. And we'll take a Modded. Modded doesn't work with All for One, but it is quite good in general to get that extra orb slot, especially with Frost Orbs and Spinner and Lightning Rod with everything that we've got going here. I think the option to have more is really nice. More orb slots, that is. So, it'll be good because I don't foresee us playing it multiple times. I think it helps early. It gives us a little extra block. But later on, it becomes less good. Where we're probably not going to play it if it costs 2 because we're more interested in playing All for One and things like that. Now, Echo Form is not a bad consideration either, but it doesn't work with All for One. And while it does work with like Claw and Beam Cell and Go for the Eyes, we're already playing those things twice very frequently. And we get Beautiful Bracelet, Glitter, or Brilliant Scarf. Glitter is enchant all cards with Glam, so everything that you take gets 1 replay per combat. Not bad, but I already got all the cards that I want, so I don't think I'm taking that. Brilliant Scarf is the 5th card you play, is free, not that useful since we're playing so many. Well, actually could be useful with All for One. And Beautiful Deck, or Beautiful Bracelet makes our deck beautiful. We get to get more draw. And that's kind of cool, because we have a lot of zero-cost cards that we can put that on. And while we're definitely playing things like Claws, so that those are good candidates. Beam Cell is a good candidate to Go for the Eyes. Really, all of our zero-cost cards make it so that maybe we could play more zero-cost cards. Now, Modded is questionable. Because, well, I think it's just the first time you play it, right? So it's fine. Actually, that's totally fine. We're always playing Modded as well. And Modded is nice because even if there was like an enemy with thorns or something, we're still going to play it the first time we see it. Every time. We're going up against the Biting Scrolls. Always an annoying fight. But we got a nice start with some draw, some All for One, and Claws and all that good stuff. We should probably focus on the double attack guy. We get that Claw Plus, so we get to play that first and make our other claws do more damage. And All for One is going to guarantee the kill. We do want to play some other stuff too. I don't know. I played Leap to make sure I had space in my hand, but we could have saved it actually, which would have been the play because it would have gotten us 1 more dexterity to hold off. Actually, it would have gotten us 2 more dexterity. Look at this. So we actually, unfortunately, missed out on 2 block here by doing it this way. However, we get really efficient claws, so we're not going to take any damage anyway, but it is an interesting thing to note. And this fight ends up being really easy. This is the benefit of nice draw. Ooh, another. Ooh, look at this. Oh, we don't even go to turn 2. Beautiful play. Beautiful turn. Another Claw or a Sacrifice. We're going to sacrifice, and we get the Shuriken Kunai God combo on an All for One deck. What more could you want in life? My only regret now is that this is Ascension 9 and not Ascension 10, because I'm pretty sure this deck is ready to take on Ascension 10. We're up against the Cultists, which is not really a scary fight. We're going to scale, I think, pretty quickly. Now that we've got that bracelet that gave us, we have 4 cards now with the Swift, including Spinner. Although Spinner only draws 2, right? But here you can see the beauty of what we're doing. Look at this. Oh my goodness. We just play. It's amazing. Look at that. Draw back 8 cards. Oh, you love to see it. We're just gonna play everything, and I think we actually just kill here. Did we? No, we're close. We're close though. And in fact, the next turn with Lightning Rod kills, so we're not even going to play another card here, I don't think. Actually, does it kill now? No, we're just shy. We're just shy. We full block, and then boom. He's dead. Great fight. Didn't even make it to turn 2. Scrape. Scrape is a card. So is Chill. So is Chill. But Chill is like, eh. Especially against the boss that we're fighting. Well, all bosses are just single bosses. Not true. Act 1, the Kin, has 3, I suppose. And maybe there's another boss that I'm forgetting. Anyway, we have to get rid of one of our potions for a potential card. And they're both attacks, so it's which is the less of 2 evils. The Swift potion doesn't seem that great. Ooh, go for the Ice Plus is really nice here. Barrage, not bad with modded. Not bad with a Shuriken, too, actually. You know, Barrage might have been the pick there. But we scale, you know what? No, never mind. I changed my mind. We scale so well with Claw, it doesn't even matter. Feral's kind of nice at this shop. Tense is always interesting, but like our upgrades are, I'm not sure our upgrades are worth 188, and we're pretty healthy, so we may be upgrading anyway. We're not going to take the Gorget. I said it right for the first time ever in this cast. Write it down, mark your calendar, it happened. Compact, not bad because of how many exhaust card or statuses we're making that we'd like to exhaust, and Fuel's kind of nice. So and Fuel also works to draw more 1-cost or 0-cost cards. So this is a fascinating card to consider. What am I looking at here? Oh, I was going to go to the compendium. I changed my mind. I don't remember what I was going to look at, but I know I was going to look at the compendium there for a moment. Or maybe I just clicked the wrong button. We could remove the Last Strike. That's certainly an option. Yeah, you know, a lot of good options here. Rocket Punch is kind of interesting because it draws a card, and when you create a status, it becomes 0 cost. So, like, that actually could have been a good card here, too. I don't take it. I think it's, what is it? Rocket Punch is what? Uncommon? I think it's an uncommon, yeah. So, that would have been pretty good. That would have been pretty good. We're almost always going to play a status before we get to it, or at least always will the second time and on. But we're going to get rid of that Last Strike, because the Last Strike is a really good card to get rid of, and worth maybe more than anything else we could do. We get the Round Tea Party. We can heal to full and then take 4. We can lose 11 and get a random relic. I think either is fine here, honestly. Losing 11 is not that painful, considering we're pretty healthy. So we'll go with that option, and we get a bag of ooh, that is nice. So now we've just got to decide, do we want to go into like 2 elites in a row? That's a little ambitious. I think here a rest makes sense. Get the full health, get healthy, and then fight an elite and feel pretty good for the rest of it. Ooh, Mummified Hand, also not bad, especially with that Spinner and Hailstorm that are 1-cost powers. Did we take the Feral? Shoot, I don't think we did. Well, anyway, we're going up against the Mecha Knight, and the Mecha Knight's kind of scary, but this is not a bad turn. I like Ice Lance here. We could defend for a bunch. We could Speed Potion. We could Skill Pot. A lot of options here. Ice Lance is only going to block for 6, but with Boost Away, we're going to get 1 more block. Speed Potion definitely could make sense here. We don't. This allows us to either full block, or we can play the Ice Lance. We're going to go with the full, well, not even the full block, the almost full block. And that's with Regal Pillow in mind. We're highly likely to rest going before the boss fight anyway. Here we go. Here's Scrape in action. And let's see if it gets us anything of use. There's a whole lot of 0-cost cards. But if we play it, we might not be able to play All for One, which is a problem. So we're going to avoid that. And this appears to be a good turn. However, if we draw All for One here, we're going to cry. And, oh no, I shouldn't play Spinner. Well, the thing is, if we play Spinner, we get to also play Hailstorm and everything in our hand for free, which is not terrible. But it's so likely that we're going to draw All for One that I'm not going to do it. Now, the only problem is, here's the problem. We're going to draw 5 cards, and we have 4, which means we're going to full shuffle. However, we have Go for the Eyes modded, so we're going to draw a whole lot of cards, and that's going to work out real well for us. Now, of course, we got Burns in our pile, but yeah, I mean, look at that. We're going to be able to bring back all of our cards, all 4 0-cost cards that we played, and also play a Lightning Rod or Defend Plus if we'd like. And at this point, we were weakening him for multiple turns, which is also pretty good here. The artifacts are gone. And we're in pretty decent shape. We can play both the Lightning Rod and Boost Away. I don't know why I would play Defend over this. Oh, if I want to save... Yeah, if I wanted to save the Dark Orb. The thing is, the Dark Orb is going away anyway, so I think Lightning Rod would have been better to play there. And we're going to Skill Pot just cuz, which Boot Sequence probably the best option here to not add more junk into our hands. And Voltaic, we've channeled 3 Lightning, so it's okay. That would have been okay, but then we would have used our Dark Orb again. Which right now, it does another 20, or it does another 6 by having waited. It would have actually made more sense to play Voltaic there, I think. Well, whatever. Yeah, so confirming with Beam Cell that we do, in fact, only get to play that once before the enchant goes away. So I'm not sure I hit on that before, but that is it is a one-time use. We haven't played Spinner yet, though, because you can only play it once, of course. And that does have the beauty of Mummified Hand benefit. We draw more statuses, and we get to play Exterminate, which is now with Shuriken an even better pick than Squash. We're very happy with that. That AoE with some extra strength after playing all these cards is amazing. We're starting to scale pretty well here, but he's not vulnerable, and Scrape's going to be a random, do we hit any 0 cost or not? We no longer get the benefit of being, nothing. We got nothing. Oh, this is a scary turn, actually. Cool-Headed is going to help. Another Claw is going to get us a little bit closer to a full block. We do have 3 decks, which is nice, but you know we're going to just save 5 health here and block for as much as we can. So another big hit, but at this point, fight's over. The next Claw is going to kill, and we're through. We get a Vulnerable Potion, which is really nice. A Blood Pot, which will heal us a little bit. Could take another Scrape, but after that performance, I don't know. Maybe we just take the Relic, and we will be able to get at least one more Relic here before we go to the boss. In all likelihood, unless the cards are just incredibly stellar. Unlikely, though. Seems unlikely. Getting Claw going and Zap, very nice. It's always good to see some 0 costs early on, and no All for One. I like All for One on like the second or third draw. On this deck, I think it's actually best on the second draw because we have so much draw from other cards, and that means that we'll be able to play it pretty well here. So, yeah, good turn already. There's the All for One. So this is interesting. The All for One 0, and it's because of Mummified Hand. So Mummified Hand waits for the card to resolve, apparently, before it plays it, which is going to allow us to scale up our dex and our strength, despite the fact that we got -1 of each, or -2 of each. We're back to even here, and... That is hilarious. I didn't even I'm not sure I realized that during this fight that our deck counters these guys completely. And we also full block here, which is amazing. So this fight ends up being pretty straightforward. Claw is Law for sure. Played that backwards, unfortunately. I don't know why I did that. We haven't even played modded yet. We just got through our deck for the first time. And yeah, pretty safe from this point on with how much damage we're doing. We get the All for One as well. I'm scraping for some reason, completely unnecessarily. This guy is just dead. I literally just needed to play one more Claw. Good fight. We could take a hologram, and honestly, Uproar is mildly interesting because I think it would give us draw, potentially, but it's so random. Here we can definitely double damage on Claw, on Exterminate. We could do it on All for One or Isolance. All these cards I think fine. Or we could just transform. What would we transform? Probably a Defend. Maybe even Dual Cast. Dual Cast just hasn't seen any action. I'm not sure I'm getting to a Dual Cast upgrade before we get there. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think that's the priority upgrade with some of the other stuff we've got in the deck. Honestly, another Go for the Eyes upgrade is not bad. We could upgrade Cool-Headed for a little bit more draw, which is kind of nice. Modded for a little bit more. Well, Modded's already drawing a bunch. It's already drawing 4. Actually, Modded I don't think is a good upgrade for that matter. Although it would make future Moddeds better. So we're going to go for the Ice Lance Transform. Did you see that one coming? I don't think so. The reason for that is we've obviously transformed our deck into primarily, we've leaned into the all-for-one play, right? That's obviously the angle at this point. So the idea was, well, let's just get rid of our 3-cost card that we're playing less and less. Do you agree with that? I wonder. I kind of like the play. I think it was questionable. We could have made it do double damage, which was okay, or double damage something else. Exterminate double damage is always nice, but I think it's fine. Now, realistically, Defend is a card that you might say or might seem like a good transform, but with Kunai, the defends get better the longer the fight goes. So I'm not actually sure it is better. Anyway, we get our dream draw here of modded into Beam Cell, both with Swift. So this all-for-one is going to pop off. We get Helix Drill. You might be wondering, like, was that a good transform to begin with? And at first, I was like, I mean, I have so many 0 costs that it doesn't seem that great. But the thing is, it is pretty good because we can play it multiple times. And with Strength Gain, that card is not terrible. So it does 7 here, right? It continues to build our strength. And yeah, it would have been, we actually have so many 0 cost cards we didn't get it back, which is unfortunate, but it scales. It would do, what would it do, 7 times 3 here? No, 8 times 3 now, because we've spent all of our energy. And it incentivizes us to take a turbo, which we're already incentivized to take a turbo thanks to all-for-one, but it makes it even better. So yeah, all kind of interesting things going on with this deck, and so many synergies at this point that, yeah, it feels good to play. Now we are going to play our last Swift card. Modded at this point is less interesting to play, but could still get play. So Beam Cell Sweep, though, is really nice. Or Scrape. The only problem with Scrape, though, is, again, if you dump all-for-one, which I think we just did. I'm not sure I caught that. It might be in the discard already, which is, whatever. What are you going to do? Hailstorm, not terrible here, but I think the better thing is to just try to take out with orbs at this point. So, yeah, Lightning Rod makes a whole lot of sense. Dual Cast would make a lot of sense here as well. But with the extra orb slot, I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's get some more orbs going. This is a nice turn. Let's play. Oh, we never played Spinner, but there's the Helix Drill that is going to do 8 damage to close it out for us. So not bad. We're going to sacrifice these cards for sure. None of this is that great. We get a Rainbow Ring. Rainbow Ring is more strength generation. Is it strength? I think it's strength. You play one of each card type, and you get 1 strength. That would be a defend or a skill, a power, and an attack. So that could be, you know, especially for what we're doing, that's likely to happen a couple of times. Spinner, and then boost away. Any 0 cost card is going to trigger that every time. So again, more scaling that we will make use of potentially 2-3 times if we get any more powers before we wrap up here. We are heading to the boss here shortly. We're on floor 47 at a campfire. I think we've got, what, 2 more fights? Or no, sorry, that was the last floor. Jeez, I thought we had another fight. How did I get lost in that one? And yeah, this is actually not a bad turn. This lets us set some stuff up. We could play Scrape if we wanted, but we're just going to pop off with our Shadow Shield and get some stuff going there. We do get our Rainbow Ring strength there, which is kind of nice. And this is where the fight is kind of scary. We're going to exhaust things in this fight. So what do we want to exhaust? And the answer is a few things, but I'm not going to exhaust all-for-one. That I need to keep. So not a great turn. And we're going to take some damage. That's a pretty big hit, actually. And we don't have a whole lot of defensive options there. So Go for the Eye is going to help a lot here. Unfortunately for us, this is countering our deck really hard because we can't draw. And, you know, all of these cards, we have 2 draws here, and we can't make use of it. Now, modded, I have to decide if I want to save this or not. And I'm going to opt for the extra orb slot instead of holding off and saving that draw. Now, here's another one where, well, Spinner's good because we get to make something 0 cost so, with Mummified Hand. So, like, that's nice. And we get the Defend, which is also kind of good. We should play Exterminate first because it's our last card that costs. And this is a great turn for that Vulnerable Potion. Now we're starting to scale a little bit. We don't lose out on the Beam Cell being not played first. And we can use the Beam Cell to draw more 0 cost cards potentially, which we do. And this is the only turn where I'm like, haha, we counter you. We get another Rainbow Ring proc, so we actually maximize our Rainbow Ring. We're not going to get any more because we don't have any more powers. And unfortunately, we're back to the exhaust turn. And this is brutal because we got All for One twice now on exhaust turns. And we don't have any block. Now, we are going to continue to weaken the heck out of this guy. Playing 1 Claw here could be good. And the question is, do you play the Claw Plus or the regular Claw? I really don't want to play the All for One. I think that would be a death sentence. But at the same point, like, the Vulnerable only lasts so many turns. We're not going to be able to draw next turn. So I think we do need to scale our claws more here on a turn where he's vulnerable. Now, if we had enough damage, or if he was low enough, maybe it made sense to play the claws and the All for One and get back the claw that is still in the discard pile. But we're not close enough for that damage quite yet. Dual Cast, though, is a great card to get rid of. So we'll do that. And yeah, this is a big decision point. Do we play a claw or not? To be honest, I don't even remember what I end up deciding here. I feel like I play a claw, but I could be wrong. This game was played a couple of days ago, just saying. I also wouldn't have minded playing that Helix Strike. The Helix Strike is also not that great in this fight, because even if you could play it on a 0 cost turn, it doesn't count for the energy that you lost that you didn't spend. It very clearly states for energy spent. Man, again, very tough turns here. So we're going to play all of our cards. There's not a whole lot of thinking to be done here. Really nice, though, Exterminate doing 13 times 4 and Helix doing 13 times 3. So at this point, I feel confident that we can win the fight for sure, but less confident that I would have won on Ascension 10 because this fight got kind of rough pretty quick here. Again, we're not going to be able to play All for One, kind of sad. So we're just going to block for as much as we can. Exterminate, though, gets us pretty close to a kill, especially with Helix Drill. So 13, so now we're just doing math here. 13 times 2, because we will get to be able to hit 2 on Helix Drill. And you can see we're down to 1 energy, but it only hits once because this is energy spent. So the question is, do we play Exterminate or not? And I think the math points to full block or get as close to full block as we can. Actually, it is perfect full block and do as much damage as we can otherwise. And now we feel pretty good. Now we're pretty safe. But we never got a good All for One turn. Can you believe it? And now we're exhausting, though. But that's okay. Because, you know, at this point, we're doing so much damage. We're not going to play any more of these cards anyway. And at this point, the fight's already over no matter what we do. So, GG. We're going to end with a Claw, because Claw is how this deck started with that All for One. And it was pretty satisfying. Tough fight with Doormaker. Again, I'm not sure I would have been able to beat Ascension 10. But it was still... yeah, maybe we could have, actually. If we had a good draw, we definitely could have beaten Queen or the test subject. So, hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you in the next run. Next runs are going to be Ascension 10 only, and looking forward to sharing that with you.